Have you ever woken up, walked over to your beautiful seed trays, and found your tiny tomato plants lying flat on the dirt? It is a heartbreaking sight. Today we are talking about why your seedlings are dying and why you only have hours to react. I promise you, by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to save your peppers and tomatoes from total destruction. But first, let me tell you a secret that contradicts everything you have heard. Overwatering is not your biggest enemy right now. Your biggest enemy is an invisible bug that is feasting on your plants while you sleep. Are you ready to find out the truth about what is really happening in your soil? Let me know in the comments if you have ever lost a whole tray of plants overnight, because you are definitely not alone. Before we fix the problem, we need to understand the battlefield. When you start seeds indoors, especially delicate ones like tomatoes and peppers, you are creating a tiny, artificial greenhouse. These young plants have very weak root systems. Historically, gardeners have always struggled with a condition called damping off. This is where the stem simply rots at the base and the plant dies. But in recent years, a massive contributor to this problem has been identified. It is a tiny insect known as the fungus gnat. These bugs love the exact same warm, moist conditions that your pepper and tomato seeds need to sprout. They invade your pots, multiply by the hundreds, and turn your peaceful indoor garden into an absolute war zone. Let us start by looking at the invisible threat destroying your hard work. Have you ever walked up to your windowsill in the morning, holding your coffee, only to find your precious tomato seedlings collapsed? They look like tiny, sad green strings resting on the dirt. You might think they just need a little more water. Let me stop you right there. That is the biggest mistake you can make. The truth behind this sudden collapse is usually not a lack of water at all. Instead, your plants are experiencing catastrophic root failure. Imagine a strong, healthy tree in the forest. If something comes along and eats all of its roots, the tree will fall over, even if the weather is perfect. That is exactly what is happening in your seed trays right now. The stem gets weak at the soil line, pinches off, and the plant simply gives up. Many people believe the myth that droopy plants are always thirsty plants. But very often, this droop is caused by an invisible army attacking from below. We tend to blame ourselves for not providing enough light or the right temperature. But the reality is much more sinister. Your peppers and tomatoes are highly sensitive at this young stage. Their stems are soft and full of moisture. When they fall over like timber, you have to act immediately. Do not reach for the watering can. Reaching for the watering can will only speed up the destruction of your entire indoor garden. So, who exactly is this enemy we are fighting? Let me introduce you to the fungus gnat. If you see tiny black flies hovering around your soil, you have a problem. They look a lot like regular fruit flies, but they are much more dangerous to your garden. Many beginners believe the myth that these flies are just annoying, but harmless. That is entirely false. The flying adults are not the ones killing your tomatoes. The real killers are their babies. Fungus gnat larvae live under the dirt. They look like tiny, clear worms with shiny black heads. Since they live in the dark, you rarely see them. But they are down there, aggressively chewing on the delicate white roots of your pepper and tomato seedlings. Think of them as microscopic sharks swimming through your potting soil. Every time they take a bite out of a root, they create an open wound. This wound allows deadly fungus and bacteria to enter the plant. This is the exact moment the damping off disease takes hold. The plant cannot drink water or absorb nutrients anymore, the stem rots, and the plant dies. You must understand that the adults flying around are just a warning sign. The true battle is happening underground, out of sight. If you see even one adult fly, you can be sure there are dozens of hungry larvae chewing on your plants right now. Now we need to talk about the countdown. Why do you only have a few hours to react? When a mature plant loses a few roots, it gets a little stressed but usually survives. But seedlings are entirely different. A tomato seedling might only have 3 or 4 tiny roots keeping it alive. If the larvae eat just 1 or 2 of them, the plant loses 50% of its life support system. Once you see the plant start to lean or drop its leaves, the capillary action has stopped. Capillary action is how the plant pulls water up its stem. Imagine trying to drink a thick milkshake through a straw that has 20 holes poked in it. It simply does not work. You will just suck in empty air. That is what your plant is experiencing. It is dehydrating while sitting in wet dirt. Once the stem begins to pinch and turn brown at the soil line, the clock is ticking fast. You have perhaps 12 to 24 hours to intervene before the damage becomes permanent. If you wait until the weekend to fix the issue, you will be throwing your entire tray into the trash. Speed is your best weapon here. You cannot hesitate. You must implement rescue strategies the very minute you notice a plant looking tired or leaning over. Delaying action is a guaranteed way to lose your entire spring harvest. The absolute first step in your rescue mission is the drying out strategy. Stop watering your plants immediately. Fungus gnats absolutely require wet, soggy soil to breed and lay their eggs. If the soil is dry, the larvae cannot survive, and the adults will not lay new eggs there. There is a very common myth that seedlings must be kept soaking wet at all times to grow well. This is completely wrong. While seeds need moisture to sprout, young plants need oxygen at their roots just as much as they need water. By letting the top inch of your soil dry out completely, you create a hostile environment for the pests. Think of it like turning a lush jungle into a harsh desert. The gnats hate the desert. Use the finger test. Stick your pointer finger into the dirt up to your first knuckle. If it feels wet or sticky, step away from the plants. Only water when the soil feels dry to the touch. This simple change in your routine will instantly cut the gnat population in half. It forces the larvae to dive deeper, away from the vulnerable stem of your tomato plants. It also stops the dangerous fungus from spreading across the surface of the soil. So, put down the watering can, take a deep breath, and let the air do the hard work for you. Our next powerful weapon is the yellow sticky trap. You need to catch the adult flies before they can lay more eggs. Each female fungus gnat can lay up to 200 eggs in her short lifetime. If you stop the adults, you break the life cycle. But why yellow? Insects are highly visual creatures. To a fungus gnat, bright yellow looks exactly like a stressed, dying plant leaf. It acts like a powerful magnet. When you place a yellow sticky trap near your seedlings, the flies cannot resist flying toward it. Once they touch the surface, the glue traps them forever. Imagine setting up an invisible force field around your pepper plants. You want to place these traps horizontally, just an inch or two above the soil level. Do not hang them high up in the air because the gnats are lazy flyers. They like to hop along the surface of the dirt. By catching the adults, you are stopping the next generation of root eaters from ever being born. Many people skip this step, thinking the traps are ugly. But trust me, a yellow piece of paper is much prettier than a tray of dead tomatoes. Leave the traps in place even after you think the bugs are gone. They serve as an excellent early warning system. If a new gnat appears, you will see it stuck to the trap instantly. Now it is time for the secret weapon to kill the larvae underground. We are going to use a hydrogen peroxide flush. You probably have a brown bottle of 3% hydrogen peroxide sitting in your bathroom cabinet right now. It is time to bring it to the garden. Mix 1 part of hydrogen peroxide with 4 parts of regular water. Pour this mixture directly onto the soil of your seedlings. Do not worry, it will not harm your plants. When the liquid hits the dirt, you will hear a soft fizzing sound. That fizzing is pure magic. It is the oxygen being released. This rapid release of oxygen burns the delicate skin of the fungus gnat larvae, killing them on contact. It also destroys the fungal spores that cause damping off. Imagine giving your potting soil a bubbling spa treatment that completely sanitizes it. The best part is that the hydrogen peroxide breaks down quickly into plain water and oxygen. The extra oxygen actually gives your plant roots a massive boost of energy, helping them recover from the damage. It is a perfect double-action remedy. You kill the bad guys and feed the good guys at the exact same time. Use this mixture once a week until you no longer see any pests flying around your plants. It is cheap, highly effective, and completely safe for your vegetables. To ensure these bugs never come back, you must change how you deliver water to your plants. From now on, you are going to practice bottom watering. Instead of pouring water over the top of the soil, you will pour water into the tray underneath the pots. The soil will act like a sponge and pull the water up through the drainage holes. This method is incredibly beneficial. By watering from the bottom, the top layer of dirt remains completely dry. And as we learned earlier, fungus gnats will not lay their eggs on dry soil. It is like locking the front door to your house so the invaders cannot get inside. Imagine a cat drinking milk from a shallow saucer. That is how your plants will drink from now on. Bottom watering also encourages the roots to grow deep and strong, reaching down for the moisture. Strong roots mean massive, healthy pepper and tomato plants when it is time to move them outside. Allow the pots to sit in the water for about 30 minutes. Once they feel heavy, Pour out any remaining water from the tray. You never want your plants sitting in a puddle all day long. This simple shift in your watering habits will save you endless frustration and keep your seedlings perfectly hydrated and safe from pests. Finally, let us build an impenetrable shield over your soil. We are going to use the cinnamon and sand magic trick. Yes, you heard that right. Regular cinnamon from your kitchen. Sprinkle a light layer of cinnamon powder directly onto the dry surface of your potting soil. There is a silly myth that cinnamon is only good for baking cookies. In the gardening world, cinnamon is a powerful natural fungicide. It prevents the damping off disease from forming on the dirt. After you apply the cinnamon, add a thin layer of completely dry play sand over the top. The sand serves a brilliant physical purpose. To a tiny insect, a layer of sand feels like a field of broken glass. The adult gnats cannot dig through it to lay their eggs, and any surviving larvae underneath cannot crawl out. You are essentially armor plating your seedlings. This combination of dry sand and antifungal cinnamon creates a barrier that is impossible for pests to cross. It looks neat, it smells great, and it provides ultimate protection for your vulnerable tomatoes and peppers. With the top layer dry and heavily guarded, your plants are finally safe to focus all their energy on growing big and strong for the summer. Here is the ultimate plot twist that catches every gardener off guard. Those terrible fungus gnats did not fly into your house from the outside. They were already hiding inside the bag of potting soil you bought from the store. That is right. Many cheap soils are loaded with dormant gnat eggs, just waiting for you to add water. But now, you know exactly how to fight back. By acting within the first 24 hours, letting the topsoil dry out, using yellow sticky traps, applying a hydrogen peroxide flush, switching to bottom watering, and building a cinnamon and sand barrier, you have completely secured your indoor garden. Your pepper and tomato seedlings are going to survive, thrive, and give you a 100% incredible harvest this year. Thank you so much for watching and learning with me today. If this video helped you save your plants, please hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and share this with a fellow gardener. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever tried using cinnamon on your plants before? Or is this your first time hearing about it? Let us discuss it down in the comments below.